Come on, little one. Snuggle in, get close, as Oma reads some poems to you. Tonight, these are all about animals. Some of them are silly animals. Some of them may be sad things about animals. Some may be real, some may be imaginary. Sit back, snuggle in, listen to the soft breeze outside, the rocking of the chair, and let's read all of these poems about animals. Mary's Lamb. Mary had a little lamb. Its fleece was white as snow, and everywhere that Mary went, the lamb was sure to go. He followed her to school one day. That was against the rule. It made the children laugh and play to see a lamb at school. And so the teacher turned him out, but still he lingered near and waited patiently about till Mary did appear. And then he ran to her and laid his head upon her arm, as if he said, "I'm not afraid, you'll keep me from all harm." What makes the lamb love Mary so? The eager children cry. "Oh, Mary loves the lamb, you know," the teacher did reply. "And you each gentle animal in confidence may bind, and make them follow at your call, if you are always kind." Do you remember that one? That one even has a song that we sing. See if you can find that. Mary had a little lamb. The City Mouse and the Garden Mouse. The city mouse lives in a house. The garden mouse lives in a bower. He's friendly with the frogs and toads and sees the pretty plants in flower. The city mouse eats bread and cheese. The garden mouse eats what he can. We will not grudge him seeds and stalks. Poor little timid furry man. Okay. This one is called Robin Redbreast. Little Robin Redbreast sat upon a tree. Up went Pussycat, and down he went. Down came Pussycat, and away Robin ran. Said little Robin Redbreast, "Catch me if you can." Little Robin Redbreast jumped upon a wall. Pussycat jumped after him and almost got a fall. Little Robin chirped and sang, and what did Pussy say? Pussycat said not but meow, and Robin flew away. The Owl, the Eel, and the Warming Pan. The Owl and the Eel and the Warming Pan. They went to call on the Soap Fat Man. The Soap Fat Man, he was not within. He'd gone for a ride on his rolling pin. So they all came back by the way of the town and turned the meeting house upside down. The Cow. Thank you, pretty cow that made pleasant milk to soak my bread. every day and every night, warm and fresh and sweet and white. Do not chew the hemlock rank, growing on the weedy bank, but the yellow cowslips eat. They will make it very sweet. Where the purple violet grows, where the bubbling water flows, where the grass is fresh and fine, pretty cow, go there and dine. Okay. The death and burial of Cock Robin. Who killed Cock Robin? I, said the sparrow. With my bow and arrow, I killed Cock Robin. Who saw him die? I, said the fly. With my little eye, I saw him die. Who caught his blood? I, said the fish. With my little dish, I caught his blood. Who'll make his shroud? I, said the beetle. With my thread and needle, I'll make his shroud. Who'll dig his grave? I, said the owl. With my spade and trowel, I'll dig his grave. Who'll be the parson? I, said the rook. With my little book, I'll be the parson. Who'll be the clerk? I, said the lark. I'll say amen in the dark. I'll be the clerk. Who'll be chief mourner? I, said the dove. I mourn for my love. I'll be chief mourner. Who'll bear the torch? I, said the linnet. I'll come in a minute. I'll bear the torch. Who'll sing his dirge? I, said the thrush. As I sing in the bush, I'll sing his dirge. Who'll bear the pole? We, said the wren, both the cock and the hen. We'll bear the pole. Who'll carry his coffin? I, said the kite. If it be in the night, I'll carry his coffin. Who'll toll the bell? I, said the bull, because I can pull. I'll toll the bell. All the birds of the air fell to sighing and sobbing when they heard the bell toll for poor Cock Robin. You think about all of the animals reacting when one bird falls. This one's called Sing On, Blithe Bird. I've plucked the berry from the bush, the brown nut from the tree, but heart of happy little bird ne'er broken was by me. I saw them in their curious nest, close couching, slyly peer, with their wild eyes like glittering beads to note if harm were near. I passed them by and blessed them all. I felt that it was good to leave unmoved the creatures small whose home was in the wood. And here, even now, above my head, a lusty rogue doth sing. He pecks his swelling breast and neck and trims his little wing. He will not fly, he knows full well, while chirping on that spray. I would not harm him for the world, or interrupt his lay. Sing on, blithe bird, and fill my heart with summer gladness. It has been aching many a day with measures full of sadness. Isn't that a nice thought? That maybe when you've been sad, you can hear the song of a bird, and it'll make you feel better. how doth the little busy bee? How doth the little busy bee improve each shining hour and gather honey all the day from every opening flower? How skillfully she builds her cell, how neat she spreads the wax, and labors hard to store it well with the sweet food she makes. In works of labor or of skill, I would be busy too, for Satan finds some mischief still for idle hands to do. In books or work or healthful play, let my first years be past, that I may give for every day some good account at last. The Brown Thrush. There's a merry brown thrush sitting up in the tree. He's singing to me, he's singing to me. And what does he say, little girl, little boy? Oh, the world's running over with joy. Don't you hear? Don't you see? Hush, look, in my tree. I'm as happy can be. And the brown thrush keeps singing. A nest do you see, and 5 eggs hid by me in the juniper tree? Don't meddle, don't touch, little girl, little boy, or the world will lose some of its joy. Now I'm glad, now I'm free, and I always shall be, if you never bring sorrow to me. So the merry brown thrush sings away in the tree, to you and to me, to you and to me. And he sings all the day, little girl, little boy. Oh, the world's running over with joy, but long it won't be, don't you know? Don't you see? Unless we're as good as can be. The Butterfly and the Bee. Methought I heard a butterfly say to a laboring bee, "Thou hast no colors of the sky on painted wings like me." Poor child of vanity, those dyes and colors bright and rare, with mild reproof the bee replies, are all beneath my care. Content I toil from morn till eve, and scorning idleness, to tribes of gaudy sloth I leave the vanity of dress. This one is just called The Butterfly. The butterfly, an idle thing, nor honey makes, nor yet can sing, as do the bee and bird. Nor does it, like the prudent ant, lay up the grain for times of want, a wise and cautious hoard. My year is but a summer's day. Then, like the bee and ant, I'll lay a store of learning by. And though from flower to flower I roam, my stock of wisdom I'll improve, nor be a butterfly. Do you think butterflies are idle? Those two authors thought butterflies don't do anything but look pretty. And I bet they do more than that. What do you think? The Ant and the Cricket. A silly young cricket, accustomed to sing through the warm, sunny months of gay summer and spring, began to complain when he found that at home his cupboard was empty and winter was come. Not a crumb to be found on the snow-covered ground, not a flower could he see, not a leaf on a tree. "But what will become," says the cricket, "of me?" At last, by starvation and famine made bold, all dripping with wet and all trembling with cold, away he set off to a miserly ant, to see if, to keep him alive, he would grant him shelter from rain, a mouthful of grain. He wished only to borrow. He'd repay it tomorrow. If not, he must die of starvation and sorrow. Says the ant to the cricket, I'm your servant and friend, but we ants never borrow, we ants never lend. But tell me, dear sir, did you lay nothing by when the weather was warm? Said the cricket, not I. My heart was so light that I sang day and night, for all nature looked gay. You sang, sir, you say? Go then, said the ant, and dance winter away. Thus ending, he hastily lifted the wicket, and out of the door turned the poor little cricket. Though this is a fable, the moral is good. If you live without work, you must live without food. Can't just play all the time, can we? Here's another one about butterflies. It's called After Wings. This was your butterfly, you see. His fine wings made him vain. The caterpillars crawl, but he passed them in rich disdain. My pretty boy says, let him be only a worm again. O child, when things have learned to wear wings once, they must be fain, to keep them always high and fair. Think of the creeping pain, which even a butterfly must bear, to be a worm again. Because we get the pretty moths and butterflies from the caterpillars. They don't always have pretty wings. The Lion and the Mouse. A lion, with the heat oppressed, one day composed himself to rest. But while he dozed as he intended, a mouse his royal back ascended, nor thought of harm, as Aesop tells, mistaking him for someone else, and traveled over him and round him, and might have left him as she found him, had she not, tremble when you hear, tried to explore the monarch's ear, who straightway woke with wrath immense, and shook his head to cast her thence. You rascal, what are you about? Said he, when he had turned her out. I'll teach you soon, the lion said, to make a mouse hole in my head. So saying, he prepared his foot to crush the trembling tiny brute. But she, the mouse, with tearful eye, implored the lion's clemency, who thought it best at last to give his little prisoner a reprieve. 'Twas nearly 12 months after this, the lion chanced his way to miss, when pressing forward, heedless yet, he got entangled in a net. With dreadful rage he stamped and tore, and straight commenced a lowardly roar. When the poor mouse, who heard the noise, attended, for she knew his voice, then what the lion's utmost strength could not effect, she did at length. With patient labor she applied her teeth the network to divide, and so at last forth issued he, a lion by a mouse set free. Few are so small or weak, I guess, but may assist us in distress, nor shall we ever, if we're wise, the meanest or the least despise. And in that last verse it said the meanest. If you're wise, the meanest, or nor shall we ever, if we're wise, the meanest or the least despise. The meanest does not mean someone who's unkind. It actually means someone who's small or doesn't have much. That's why is someone that you would not despise, someone who has very little. Appreciate even those who are small around you. The tiger. Tiger, tiger, burning bright in the forests of the night, what immortal hand or eye could frame thy fearful symmetry? In what distant deeps or skies burnt the fire of thine eyes? On what wings dare he aspire? What the hand dare seize the fire? And what shoulder and what art could twist the sinews of thy heart? And when thy heart began to beat, what dread hand and what dread feet? What the hammer? What the chain? In what furnace was thy brain? What the anvil? What dread grasp dare its deadly terrors clasp? When the stars threw down their spears and watered heaven with their tears, did he smile his work to see? Did he who made the lamb make thee? Tiger, tiger, burning bright in the forests of the night, what immortal hand or eye dare frame thy fearful symmetry? The Cricket's Story. The high and mighty Lord of Glendare, the owner of acres both broad and fair, searched, once on a time, his vast domains, his deep green forest and yellow plains, for some rare singer to make complete the studied charms of his country seat, but found for all of his pains and labors no sweeter songster than had his neighbors. Ah, what shall my lord of the manor do? He pondered the day and the whole night through. He called on the gentry of hilltop and dale, and at last on Madam the Nightingale, inviting, in his majestical way, her pupils to sing at his grand soiree, that perchance among them my lord might find some singer to whom his heart inclined. What wonder, then, when the evening came, and the castle gardens were all aflame, with the many curious lights that hung o'er the ivied porches and flared among the grand old trees and the banners proud, that many a heart beat high and loud, while the famous choir of Glendare Bog, established and led by the brothers Frog, sat thrumming as hoarsely as they were able in front of the manager's mushroom table. The overture closed with a crash. Then hark! Across the stage comes the sweet-voiced lark. She daintily sways with an airy grace, and flutters a bit of gossamer lace, while the leafy alcove echoes and thrills with her liquid runs and lingering trills. Miss Goldfinch came next in her satin gown, and shaking her feathery flounces down, with much expression and feeling sung, some ohs and ahs in a foreign tongue. While to give the affair a classic tone, Miss Katydid rendered a song of her own, in which each line closed as it had begun, with some wonderful deed which she had done. Then the Mrs. Sparrow, so prim and set, twittered and chirped through a long duet, and poor little Wren, who tried with a will, but who couldn't tell Heber from Ortonville, unconscious of sarcasm, piped away, and curtsied low o'er a huge bouquet, a crimson clover heads, culled by the dozen, by some brown-coated plebeian cousin. But you should have heard the red robin sing his English ballad, Come, Beautiful Spring, and Master Owlet's melodious tune, Oh, meet me under the silvery moon. Then, as flighty Miss Hummingbird didn't care to sing for the high and mighty Glendare, the close of the evening's performance fell to the fair young nightingale, Mademoiselle. Ah, the wealth of each wonderful note that came from the depths of her tiny throat. She caroled, she trilled, and she held her breath, till she seemed to hang on the point at the point of death. She ran the chromatics through every key, and ended triumphant on upper C, airing the graces her mother had taught her in a manner quite worthy of Madame's daughter. But his lordship glared down the leafy aisle, with never so much as a nod or smile, till out in the shade of a blackberry thicket he all of a sudden spied little Miss Cricket, and roused from his gloom like an angry bat, he sternly demanded, "Who is that?" "Miss Cricket, my lord, may it please you so, a charity scholar, ahem, you know. Quite worthy, of course, but we couldn't bring," thundered his mightiness, "let her sing." The nightingale opened her little eyes extremely wide in her blank surprise, but catching a glimpse of his lordship's rage, led little Miss Cricket upon the stage, where she modestly sang in her simple measures of Home Sweet Home and its humble pleasures. And the Lord of Glendare cried out in his glee, "This little Miss Cricket shall sing for me." Of course, of comment there was no need, but the world said, "Really?" and "Ah, indeed." Yet, notwithstanding, we find it true, as his lordship does will the neighbors do. So this is the way, as the legends tell, in the very beginning it befell, that the crickets came, in the evening's gloom, to sing in our hearts of Home Sweet Home. Chanticleer. Of all the birds from east to west that tuneful are and dear, I love that farmyard bird the best. They call him Chanticleer. Gold plume and copper plume, comb of scarlet gay, 'tis he that scatters night and gloom and whistles back the day. He is the sun's brave herald, that ringing his blithe horn, calls round a world dew pearled the heavenly airs of morn. O clear gold, shrill and bold, he calls through creeping mist, the mountains from the night and cold to rose and amethyst. He sets the birds to singing and calls the flowers to rise. The morning cometh, bringing sweet sleep to heavy eyes. Gold plume and silver plume, comb of coral gay, 'tis he packs off the night and gloom and summons home the day. Black fear he sends it flying, black care he drives afar, and creeping shadows sighing before the morning star. The birds of all the forest have dear and pleasant cheer, but yet I hold the rarest the farmyard chanticleer. Red cock or black cock, gold cock or white, the flower of all the feathered flock, he whistles back the light. This is an excerpt from a poem called Sea Dreams by Alfred Tennyson, Lord Alfred Tennyson. And it's, "What does little birdie say?" What does little birdie say in her nest at peep of day? "Let me fly," says a little birdie. "Mother, let me fly away." Birdie, rest a little longer, till the little wings are stronger. So she rests a little longer, then she flies away. What does little baby say in her bed at peep of day? Baby says, like little birdie, "Let me rise and fly away." Baby, sleep a little longer, till the little limbs are stronger. If she sleeps a little longer, baby too shall fly away. the spider and the fly. "Will you walk into my parlor?" said the spider to the fly. "'Tis the prettiest little parlor that ever did you spy. The way into my parlor is up a winding stair, and I have many curious things to show when you are there." "Oh, no, no," said the little fly. "To ask me is in vain, for who goes up your winding stair can ne'er come down again." "I'm sure you must be weary, dear, with soaring up so high. Will you rest upon my little bed?" said the spider to the fly. "There are pretty curtains drawn around, the sheets are fine and thin, and if you like to rest a while, I'll snugly tuck you in." "Oh, no, no," said the little fly, "for I've often heard it said, they never, never wake again who sleep upon your bed." Said the cunning spider to the fly, "Dear friend, what can I do to prove the warm affection I've always felt for you? I have within my pantry good store of all that's nice. I'm sure you're very welcome. Will you please to take a slice?" "Oh, no, no," said the little fly, "kind sir, that cannot be. I've heard that what's in your pantry, and I do not wish to see." "Sweet creature," said the spider, "you're witty, and you're wise. How handsome are your gauzy wings, how brilliant are your eyes. I have a little looking glass upon my parlor shelf. If you'll step in one moment, dear, you shall behold yourself." "I thank you, gentle sir," she said, "for what you're pleased to say, and bidding you good morning now, I'll call another day." The spider turned him round about and went into his den, for well he knew the silly fly would soon be back again. So he wove a subtle web in a little corner sly, and set his table ready to dine upon the fly. Then he came out to his door again, and merrily did sing, "Come hither, hither, pretty fly, with the pearl and silver wing. Your robes are green and purple, there's a crest upon your head. Your eyes are like the diamond bright, but mine are dull as lead." Alas, alas, how very soon this silly little fly, hearing his wily, flattering words, came slowly flitting by. With buzzing wings she hung aloft, then near and nearer drew, thinking only of her brilliant eyes and green and purple hue. Thinking only of her crested head, poor foolish thing. At last up jumped the cunning spider, and fiercely held her fast. He dragged her up his winding stair into his dismal den, within his little parlor, but she'd ne'er come out again. And now, dear little children, who may this story read, to idle, silly, flattering words, I pray you ne'er give heed. Unto an evil counselor close heart and ear and eye, and take a lesson from this tale of the spider and the fly. The Nightingale and Glowworm. A nightingale, that all day long had cheered the village with his song, nor yet at eve his note suspended, nor yet when eventide was ended, began to feel, as well he might, the keen demands of appetite. When looking eagerly around, he spied far off upon the ground a something shining in the dark, and knew the glowworm by his spark. So stooping down from hawthorn top, he thought to put him in his crop. The worm, aware of his intent, harangued him thus, right eloquent. "Did you admire my lamp," quoth he, "as much as I your minstrelsy? You would abhor to do me wrong as much as I to spoil your song. For 'twas the self-same power divine taught you to sing and me to shine, that you with music I with light might beautify and cheer the night. The songster heard his short oration, and warbling out his approbation, released him, as my story tells, and found a supper somewhere else. Hence jarring sectaries may learn their real interest to discern, that brothers should not war with brother, and worry and devour each other, but sing and shine by sweet consent, till life's poor transient night is spent, respecting in each other's case the gifts of nature and of grace. Those Christians best deserve the name who studiously make peace their aim. Peace, both the duty and the prize of him that creeps and him that flies. Sir Lark and King's Son, a parable. Good morrow, my lord, in the sky alone, sang the lark as the sun ascended to his throne. Shine on me, my lord, I only am come of all your servants to welcome you home. I have flown right up a whole hour, I swear, to catch the first shine of your golden hair. Must I thank you, then, said the king, Sir Lark, for flying so high and hating the dark? You ask a full cup for half a thirst. Half was love of me, and half love to be first. There's many a bird makes no such haste, but waits till I come. That's as much to my taste. And King's son hid his head in a turban of cloud, and Sir Lark stopped singing, quite vexed and cowed. But he flew up higher, and thought, anon, the wrath of the king will be over and gone, and his crown, shining out of its cloudy fold, will change my brown feathers to a glory of gold. So he flew, with the strength of a lark he flew, but as he rose, the cloud rose too, and not one gleam of the golden hair came through the depths of the misty air, till weary with flying, with sighing sore, the strong sun-seeker could do no more. His wings had no chrism of gold, and his feathers felt withered and worn and old. He faltered and sank and dropped like a stone, and there on her nest, where he left her alone, sat his little wife on her little eggs, keeping them warm with wings and legs. Did I say alone? Ah, no such thing. Full in her face was shining the king. Welcome, Sir Lark, you look tired, said he. Up is not always the best way to me. While you have been singing so high and away, I've been shining to your little wife all day. He had set his crown all about the nest, and out of the midst shone her little brown breast. And so glorious was she in russet gold, that for wonder and awe Sir Lark grew cold. He popped his head under her wing, and lay as still as a stone, till King's son was away. The courtship, merry marriage, and picnic dinner of Cock Robin and Jenny Wren. It was a merry time when Jenny Wren was young. So neatly as she danced, and so sweetly as she sung, Robin Redbreast lost his heart. He was a gallant bird. He doffed his hat to Jenny, and thus to her he said, My dearest Jenny Wren, if you will but be mine, you shall dine on cherry pie and drink nice currant wine. I'll dress you like a goldfinch or like a peacock gay. So if you'll have me, Jenny, let us appoint the day. Jenny blushed behind her fan, and thus declared her mind. Then let it be tomorrow, Bob. I take your offer kind. Cherry pie is very good, so is currant wine. but I will wear my brown gown and never dress too fine. Robin rose up early at the break of day. He flew to Jenny Wren's house to sing a roundelay. He met the cock and hen and bid the cock declare this was his wedding day with Jenny Wren the fair. The cock then blew his horn to let the neighbors know this was Robin's wedding day and they might see the show. And first came Parson Rook with his spectacles and band, and one of Mother Hubbard's books he held within her hand. Then followed him the lark, for he could sweetly sing, and he was to be clerk at Cock Robin's wedding. He sang of Robin's love for little Jenny Wren, and when he came into the end, then he began again. Then came the bride and bridegroom. Quite plainly was she dressed, and blushed so much her cheeks were as red as Robin's breast. But Robin cheered her up. "My pretty Jen," said he, "we're going to be married, and happy we shall be." The goldfinch came on next to give away the bride. The linnet, being bridesmaid, walked by Jenny's side, and as she was a-walking, she said, "Upon my word, I think that your cock Robin is a very pretty bird." The bullfinch walked by Robin, and thus to him did say, "Pray, mark, friend Robin Redbreast, that goldfinch dressed so gay. What though her gay apparel becomes her very well, yet Jenny's modest dress and look must bear away the belle." The blackbird and the thrush and charming nightingale, whose sweet jug sweetly echoes through every grove and dale, the sparrow and tomtit and many more were there. All came to see the wedding of Jenny Wren the fair. "Oh, then," says Parson Rook, "who gives this maid away?" "I do," says the goldfinch, "and her fortune I will pay. Here's a bag of grain of many sorts, and other things beside. Now happy be the bridegroom, and happy be the bride." "And will you have her, Robin, to be your wedded wife?" "Yes, I will," says Robin, "and love her all my life." "And will you have him, Jenny, your husband now to be?" "Yes, I will," says Jenny, "and love him heartily." Then on her finger fair Cock Robin put the ring. "You're married now," says Parson Rook, while the lark aloud did sing, "Happy be the bridegroom, and happy be the bride, and may not man nor bird nor beast this happy pair divide." The birds were asked to dine, not Jenny's friends alone, but every pretty songster that had Cock Robin known. They had a cherry pie, besides some currant wine, and every guest brought something that sumptuous they might dine. Now they all sat or stood to eat and to drink, and every one said what he happened to think. They each took a bumper and drank to the pair, Cock Robin the bridegroom and Jenny Wren the fair. The dinner things removed, they all began to sing, and soon they made the place, near a mile round, to ring. The concert it was fine, and every bird tried who best could sing for Robin and Jenny Wren the bride. Then in came the cuckoo, and made a great rout. He caught hold of Jenny and pulled her about. Cock Robin was angry, and so was the sparrow, who fetched in a hurry his bow and his arrow. His aim then he took, but he took it not right. His skill was not good, or he shot in a fright. For the cuckoo he missed, but Cock Robin he killed, and all the birds mourned that his blood was so spilled. Do you remember the poem we read earlier about the death and burial of Cock Robin? Didn't it sound a lot like this one? They kind of go together. Okay. Dove's nest. "Sylvia, hush," I said, "come here. Come see a fairy tale, my dear. Tales told are good, tales seen are best. The dove was brooding on the nest. In the lowest crotch of the apple tree, I lifted her up so quietly. that when she could have touched the bird, the soft gray creature had not stirred. It looked at us with a wild dark eye, but "Birdie, fly!" was Sylvia's cry. Impatient Sylvia, "Birdie, fly!" Ah, well, but when I touched the nest, the child recoiled upon my breast. Was ever such a startling thing? Sudden silver and purple wing. The dove was out, away, across, struggling heartbreak on the grass, and there in the cup within the tree, 2 milk-white eggs were ours to see. Was ever thing so pretty, alack? "Birdie," Sylvia cried, "come back!" Little Pigeon Blue. Sleep, little pigeon, and fold your wings, little blue pigeon with velvet eyes. Sleep to the singing of mother bird swinging, swinging the nest where her little one lies. Away out yonder, I see a star, silvery star with a tinkling song. To the soft dew falling, I hear it calling, calling and tinkling the night along. In through the window a moonbeam comes, little gold moonbeam with misty wings. All silently creeping, it asks, is he sleeping? Sleeping and dreaming while mother sings? Up from the sea there floats the sob of the waves that are breaking upon the shore, as though they were groaning in anguish and moaning, bemoaning the ship that shall come no more. But sleep, little pigeon, fold your wings, little blue pigeon with mournful eyes. Am I not singing? See, I am swinging, swinging the nest where my darling lies. The Fire Hangbird's Nest. As I am sitting in the sun upon the porch today, I look with wonder at the elm that stands across the way. I say, and mean with wonder, for now it seems to me that elm is not as tall as years ago it used to be. The old fire hangbirds built her nest therein for many springs. High up amid the sportive winds, the curious cradle swings, but not so high as when a little boy I did my best to scale that elm and carry off the old fire hangbird's nest. The Hubbard boys had tried in vain to reach the homely prize that dangled from that upper outer twig in taunting wise. And once, when Deacon Turner's boy had almost grasped the limb, he fell and had to have a doctor operate on him. Philetus Baker broke his leg and Orrin Root his arm, but what of that? The danger gave the sport a special charm. The Bixby and the Cutler boys, the Newtons and the rest, ran every risk to carry off old fire hangbird's nest. I can remember that I used to knee my trousers through, that mother used to wonder how my legs got black and blue, and how she used to talk to me and make stern threats when she discovered that my hobby was the nest in yonder tree. How, as she patched my trousers or greased my purple legs, she told me 'twould be wicked to destroy a hangbird's eggs, and then she'd call a father and on Grandpa to attest that they as boys had never robbed an old fire hangbird's nest. Yet all those years I coveted the trophy flaunting there, while, as it were in mockery of my abject despair, the old fire hangbird confidently used to come and go, as if she were indifferent to the bandit horde below. And sometimes clinging to her nest we thought we heard her chide, the callow brood whose cries betrayed the fear that reigned inside. Hush, little dears, all profitless shall be their wicked quest. I knew my business when I built the old fire hangbird's nest. For many, very many years, that mother bird has come to rear her pretty little brood within that cozy home. She is the selfsame bird of old, I'm certain it is she, although the chances are that she has quite forgotten me. Just as of old that prudent crafty bird of compound name, and in parentheses I'll say her nest is still the same. Just as of old the passion too that fires the youthful breast to climb unto and comprehend the old fire hangbird's nest. I like to see my old-time friends swing in that ancient tree, and if the elm's as tall and sturdy as it used to be, I'm sure that many a year that nest shall be in the breezes blow, for boys aren't what they used to be 40 years ago. The elm looks shorter than it did when Brother Roof and I beheld with envious hearts that trophy flaunted from on high. He writes that in the city where he's living way out west, his little boys have never seen an old fire hangbird's nest. Poor little chaps, how lonesome like their city life must be. I wish they'd come and live a while in this old house with me. They'd have the honest friends and healthful sports I used to know when Brother Roof and I were boys 40 years ago. So when they grew from romping lads to busy, useful men, they could recall with proper pride their country life again. And of those recollections of their youth, I'm sure the best would be of how they sought in vain the old fire hangbird's nest. The Dinky Bird. In an ocean way out yonder, as all sapient people know, is the land of wonder where their children love to go. It's their playing, romping, swinging that give great joy to me, while the dinky bird goes singing in the amphalula tree. There the gumdrops grow like cherries, and taffies thick as peas. Caramels you pick like berries, when and where and how you please. Big red sugar plums are clinging to the cliffs beside that sea, where the dinky bird is singing in the amphalula tree. So when children shout and scamper and make merry all the day, when there's naught to put a damper to the ardor of their play, when I hear their laughter ringing, then I'm sure as sure can be that the dinky bird is singing in the amphalula tree. For the dinky bird's bravurous and staccatos are so sweet, his roulades, appoggiaturas, and the robustos so complete, that the youth of every nation, be they near or far away, have especial delectation in that gladsome roundelay. Their eyes grow bright and brighter, their lungs begin to crow, their hearts get light and lighter, and their cheeks are all aglow. For an echo cometh bringing the news to all and me, that the dinky bird is singing in the amphalula tree. I'm sure you like to go there to see your feathered friend, and so many goodies grow there, you should like to comprehend. Speed, little dreams, you're winging to that land across the sea, where the dinky bird is singing in the amphalula tree. The Flyaway Horse. Oh, a wonderful horse is the flyaway horse. Perhaps you have seen him before. Perhaps while you slept, his shadow has swept through the moonlight that floats on the floor. For it's only at night, when the stars twinkle bright, that the flyaway horse with a neigh and a pull at his rein and a toss of his mane is up on his heels and away. The moon in the sky, as he gallopeth by, cries, "Oh, what a marvelous sight!" And the stars in dismay hide their faces away in the lap of old grandmother night. It is yonder, out yonder, the flyaway horse speedeth ever and ever away, over meadows and lanes, over mountains and plains, over streamlets that sing at their play. And over the sea, like a ghost sweepeth he, while the ships they go sailing below. And he speedeth so fast that the men at the mast adjudge him some portent of woe. "What ho there!" they cry, as he flourishes by, with a whisk of his beautiful tail. And the fish in the sea are as scared as can be, from the nautilus up to the whale. And the flyaway horse seeks those faraway lands you little folk dream of at night, where candy trees grow and honey brooks flow and cornfields with popcorn are white. And the beasts in the wood are ever so good to children who visit them there. What story astride of a lion to ride or to wrestle around with a bear? The monkeys, they say, "Come on, let us play." And they frisk in the coconut trees, while the parrots that cling to the peanut vines sing or converse with comparative ease. Off, scamper to bed, you shall ride him tonight. For as soon as you've fallen asleep, with a jubilant neigh he shall bear you away over forest and hillside and deep. But tell us, my dear, all you see and you hear in those beautiful lands over there, where the flyaway horse swings his faraway course with the wee one consigned to his care. Then Grandma will cry in amazement, "Oh my!" and she'll think it could never be so. And only we two shall know it is true. You and I, little precious, shall know. This is Furry Bear by A. Milne. If I were a bear, and a big bear too, I shouldn't much care if it froze or snew. I shouldn't much mind if it snowed or frizz. I'd be all fur-lined with a coat like his. For I'd have fur boots and a brown fur wrap and brown fur knickers and a big fur cap. I'd have a fur muffle ruff to cover my jaws and brown fur mittens on my big brown paws. With a big brown furry down up to my head, I'd sleep all the winter in a big fur bed. Doesn't that sound cozy? This one is also by A. Milne, and it's called The Little Black Hen. Berryman and Baxter, Pretty Boy and Penn, and old Farmer Middleton are 5 big men, and all of them were after the little black hen. She ran quickly. They ran fast. Baxter was first, and Berryman was last. I sat and watched by the old plum tree. She squawked through the hedge, and she came to me. The little black hen said, "Oh, it's you." I said, "Thank you. How do you do? And please, will you tell me, little black hen, what did they want, those 5 big men?" The little black hen, she said to me, "They want me to lay them an egg for tea." If they were emperors, if they were kings, I'm much too busy to lay them things. I'm not a king, and I haven't a crown. I climb up trees, and I tumble down. I can shut one eye. I can count to 10. So lay me an egg, please, little black hen. The little black hen said, "What will you pay if I lay you an egg for Easter Day?" "I'll give you a please and a how do you do. I'll show you the bear who lives in the zoo. I'll show you the nettle place on my leg if you'll lay me a great big Eastery egg." The little black hen said, "I don't care for a how do you do or a big brown bear, but I'll lay you a beautiful Eastery egg if you'll show me the nettle place on your leg." I showed her the place where I had my sting. She touched it gently with one black wing. "Nettles don't hurt if you count to 10. And now for the egg," said the little black hen. "When I wake up on Easter Day, I shall see my egg." She's promised to lay. If I were emperors, if I were kings, I couldn't be fuller of wonderful things. Berryman and Baxter, Pretty Boy and Pen, and old Farmer Middleton are 5 big men. All of them are wanting an egg for their tea, but the little black hen is much too busy. The little black hen is much too busy. The little black hen is much too busy. She's laying my egg for me.